Hey, Friendo, Steve here.
Hey, Larson.
And we're here with the men behind not only the hashtag worst pay-per-view ever, but also on November 13th at 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific on Fight TV, the even worse pay-per-view ever, TalkNShopAMania 2, Rise of the Torturer. Karl Anderson, Doc Gallows, Rocky Romero. How you guys doing?
Oh, we're doing, baby.
We're doing fucking great. Gallows is headed to the airport. He's going to Las Vegas just because he can. Rocky and me are in our respective houses. We're on a media blitz for this pay-per-view that Gallows forced us into.
Again.
Well, first off, it was Gallows fighting me and Rock going, we're doing part 2. Hope you guys are ready. And we were going, hell no. But little did I know, Rocky was side texting Gallows going, we got to talk Chad into this shit.
Whoa.
Then Gallows and Rocky start tag teaming me, and I'm going, what is going on? Like, they start talking about these storylines, and I'm going, guys, I'm out.
We thought we were out of a political wrestling environment, but little do we know our own alternate universe.
Well, they always say politics starts at the local level, you know.
Literally in his backyard at this point. Yeah.
Listen, the Bookers are always going to be the champion at this point. Trust me. Chad Too Bad stopped the fact that it was a 24/7 title, and that was the first storyline, I guess, in part 1. We forgot about that completely, and now it's just a main event title, and it's mine because I wrote the shit.
Let's talk about that. You're talking about, of course, ball for a ball, right?
Mm-hmm. Works, yeah.
How do you follow up a boner yard match?
Yeah, by ripping somebody's nuts off. Are we going to see like human nuts? Are we going to actually see nuts on this thing?
Yes.
Yeah. Just think about it for a second, right? Like, you got Chad Too Bad, right? You got Sex Ferguson that's coming to a head. The only way to win is to rip the other person's testicle out, and it only has to be one ball. Only one ball has to come out.
Right.
One ball to win, guys. One ball.
Yep. So, like, think of all the
if you get 2, that's just a bonus, right?
I mean, just imagine like
cherry on top.
Chad Too Bad. Quick spoiler: Chad Too Bad takes a rope and ties it around Sex Ferguson's nut sack. He gets into a semi truck and says, "I'm gonna rip your fucking nuts off," and he says, "You better not." And I start to put it in reverse, and well, is how it goes.
Hilarity ensues.
Fans, I'm gonna make a nutsack necklace out of you, pal, and I'm gonna wear it around.
I really hope you're with an Uber driver at this point, and they're listening to you talk.
They only hear one side of this conversation.
Okay, I did want to ask this though, because I was thinking about this on the way back from. I take my dog to the vet this morning, and it occurred to me, Chad Too Bad, you wear spandex, and so you can clearly see everything going on down there. You see the balls, you see the shaft, you see the bell end. Sex, he wears like the American Zubaz type pants.
Yeah,
right. Like there's an inherent advantage, right?
Sex doesn't wear those for wrestling. He's got sex tights, babe.
Oh, what color are they? May I ask?
We got the big pay-per-view tights, blue. So,
all right. So this is even Steven.
There's longage going on down there.
Okay, so everybody can see everybody's dick and balls. Okay, that's good to know.
No gear.
Very important in a ball versus ball so everybody can see your dick and balls, you know.
And you got to remember, Scott Steiner's there,
fair
right?
fight.
And the Warlord and the Barbarian, and we're trying to explain to them what we're going to do storyline-wise and how they're going to try and they have to rip our balls off, and that's the only way we can win. And they're looking at us with fucking four eyes, like, what the fuck is wrong with you two? No wonder you guys got fired.
Were any of these ideas pitched for the Southpaw stuff? Like, I know, dude. I mean, obviously, like, you're gonna know better. But how extreme did you ever try to get with Southpaw? As compared to this,
Southpaw was just watered down Sex Ferguson, Chad Too Bad shit. So we just did whatever on there, and it was what it was. And then when this happened, when we got the opportunity, and I said, let's have a parody pay-per-view. Like, now we can spoof all the shit we've thought was funny for all these years, from when we were kids to when we were wrestling for WWE to other companies on TV. Like, with all the great stuff and all the great content that's been put out there, there's been some shit. So, I mean, just an example of it, we have a new faction debut. We have 3 new factions debuted at TalkNShopAMania 2. One of them called Retra Pooption.
Yes.
Naturally. Good. I saw that in the trailer. That's good.
That's good. That's good.
That's good. Solid.
Well, like with the Southpaw stuff though, that we shot season 2 and they cut out so much of our stuff, and then we watched it back, and I didn't think it was fucking funny. And we went to the guy and said, don't even ask us to do that shit ever again. And that,
Mm-hmm.
another thing that could be another reason why slowly we started to lose favor, because we got sick of that bullshit. Like it wasn't second one wasn't funny. Come on, it was
It
terrible.
was funny too, because then they finally came to us and they go, look, we want to do a third season. We want you guys. We said no. They go, well, what if we pay you guys and we do it on location at your wrestling school and you can do the creative? And I was like, oh, well, now we're talking. Let's talk about a little money now.
Yeah.
So it started to come to fruition. Something possibly could have happened, but then everything went the way it went.
Being all about us.
I heard I heard they're still doing it though, or
I gotta
something
see
like
it.
that. Season 3. I heard season 3 is happening.
Hopefully they learn something though, and then of course they will. It'll be good. I'm sure.
Yeah,
I'm sure.
Speaking of creative, in terms of like the actual production of things, in front of the camera, behind the camera, is it more or less like a democratic collaborative process between the three of you, or is there one of you that's just taking charge, the auteur, the Alfred Hitchcock, if you will, behind the camera?
Well, I would say it's very easily a collaborative effort. Like, the first one, Gallows wrote it all and presented it to us, and then we started getting excited, and we started switching things around and pitching our own ideas. Then we were like, oh shit, this is pretty good. Then the second one was pretty much Gallows again probably led the way with the creative, but then we would come in and we had our own ideas to really spice things up. And then, and then during the shoots as well, like we'll be watching something and go, fuck, that was funny. Please do that one more time. And then that's the kind of fun stuff that we get out of it, man. And then we want to tell a story, right? That's what this all comes down to, is like part 2, as stupid as it sounds, is like we continue a story and it ends with a story at the end. And if we get enough buys, there's going to be a part 3. It's just, but we just want to continue this, and we just want to we like to be creative. We like to tell stories and we like to have fun. And like, this is kind of our fucking drug,
The storyline for part 3 is so good. So I really hope that we do well enough, because I feel like it just really, really takes another turn, so I hope it all works out.
Awesome. Were there some things that you wanted to do with the first one that you couldn't, but were able to put in TalkNShopAMania 2? And even at this point, with having done the second one, are there still things that you want to do that you haven't been able to do?
Gallows might be able to hear us, which is driving him nuts because he wants to be able to talk.
I know he's like the creative brain, and he's out there on some, Uber driver.
Well, the thing is like with part 1, we couldn't. I couldn't fathom what the fuck Gallows was talking about. Like, you want us to do what? Like, dude, are you fucking out of your mind? And then he started presenting it to us, and he's like, all right, man. And as we're shooting it, I'm laughing. I'm laughing, but is anybody else going to laugh? Then the pay-per-view drops, and it's like, fuck, people were really, really laughing. And like, so I don't know, Rock. What do you,
this whole thing wouldn't have happened if there wasn't a pandemic. And I think the situation and people looking for, some kind of alternative and just looking to laugh, because it's just the same old stuff. Right. And you can't, especially wrestling at that time, being presented with no crowd was still really weird. Right now we're kind of getting used to it. Right. But, so Gallows' idea really to take everything and just, hey, there's no crowd, so why don't we do the commentary? We'll do the track. We'll do the laughing part. And then, we'll just create this thing from my backyard. It's on paper, it sounded insane. And in a normal world, I'm not sure if it really would have worked out the same way, but the concept really did work out. And now I feel like we're really on to something. So, as for something that we did in part 1 that we couldn't do in part 2, we didn't know what the fuck we were doing in part 1, so we couldn't really plan for part 2. We never thought there was going to be a part 2 when we started the part 1. We never
straight up, no pandemic, man. There ain't no fucking TalkNShopAMania, because we were like, I still think we would still be in the WWE. Call me crazy, but like, I just don't. I didn't feel like we were on the verge of being fired. So I feel
you guys had flights booked for the rest of the year.
We had flights booked all over the world to go all over the world. So it just came out of nowhere, and then COVID comes up, and then all of a sudden there's this opportunity, which, man, is as crazy as it sounds. It's for our life personally and professionally, maybe it was a blessing.
Huge blessing.
So like, this is your guys's. Obviously you're like super passionate about it. It's fascinating to us, me and Larson both, to hear about like the creative process. That's, I think, what a lot of fans, and a lot of times they can go about it the wrong way, but a lot of the times it's like movie commentaries. Like, people love to know what's going on behind the scenes. So it's fascinating to hear, for example, that Gallows was the one who's writing it, who's coming to you, and then you guys start collaborating it from there. That's fascinating stuff. So,
he ran down the entire card, that first one, and I'm going, what the fuck are you talking about? You got to remember, this is before it ever happened. So I'm gonna set the ring up in the backyard. This is gonna be this versus this guy versus this. This is gonna happen, and I'm going, bro, like, the way I'm trying to explain it is exactly how I answered him. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Sorry for cutting you off. So I want to explain how fucking confused we were too when he came at us with it. Like, I just didn't get it. And then as
awesome.
Then as we started to flow, it was like, fuck, maybe. And then we're talking over it in front of the, on Zoom together. And we catch ourselves laughing, talking about it. And it's like, fuck, maybe this is going to be funny, man.
There were some segments I couldn't understand, like the what was it, the briefcase on a tree match? I didn't understand that segment until we actually were shooting it. Then I was like, oh, now I see the vision, Elvis Wesley, all the Elvises. Gotcha.
Yeah, but remember, I said, even on commentary, this is real, true commentary, right? I go, well, what do they win? And Gallows goes, well, the briefcase. You go, what's in it? He goes, I don't know.
Well, that's got to speak to like the trust. I mean, you guys go back a long ways, obviously, and you guys have been through a lot of shit together. I mean, that speaks to the trust of collaboration. That's a super unique thing. Like, not a lot of people have that kind of thing.
Oh, it's true. Like, to be able to tell the story we did with part two, I feel like the ending to part two is like, if you never followed a podcast, you don't even know who the person was. Like, I told this story, like, when part one ended, this person crawls out of the grave with a hockey mask on. And if you're watching the show, it's like, well, that's Gallows with a hockey mask. And the Young Bucks message us and go, so were fans watching and just go, so why the fuck did Gallows just come out of this grave with a hockey mask? And that's how it ended. But like, they knew who that character was. And that character is the cock torturer. But no, so that's the kind of fun shit we have now. Now we have this, all of part two is telling this story about who and why the cock torturer came about, what he means to this, our alternate universe. And then the ending is, in my mind, amazing.
I think one thing that you can't underestimate is how willing fans are to be able to buy in. If, you guys are obviously pretty big names. I mean, at this point, especially after you're running WWE, yes. Everybody knows who you are. I think all the real fans like really appreciate where you're coming from. We saw like what you were trying to do in WWE, and sometimes it was really successful. But obviously, you see, okay, everybody's why aren't they using these guys? I mean, you've got you guys, you've got Finn, you got AJ, and it's like, why are they not just putting these guys together with a really cool T-shirt and letting them run wild? Like, you have the ingredients, and so I think people just understand. It's like, okay, we want to know now that you guys are out of WWE. Like, you guys are going to, and the Uber ride's done. You guys have something to offer now with a much bigger audience. They're going to buy in, even if they don't understand every joke, even if they're like, okay, we know these guys are really into it. They're going to buy into that.
Because we showed up in WWE, right, with a pretty solid fan base that had followed us from the Bullet Club, from New Japan. Like, obviously, it wasn't mainstream stuff like WWE helped us get there, but when we showed up, we had this following, and that was kind of like what our pitches were, our ideas were. We're like, man, we've got this built-in following. Like, just give us a little love. And they just never wanted to get behind it. And that's fine. That's their idea. It's their show. It's like, we're not going to push people in TalkNShopAMania that we don't like. But so that's just the way it is. I get it. But now, we got enough of a run and enough television time that, we did gain some fans. We did gain a lot of extra people. And then we kept those same fans that followed us that even got more passionate about us, thinking that they were holding us down. And so like almost got more passionate about it. Like, we just did a signing in New York and there was like 500 people outside of this little comic book store in a pandemic, which shouldn't be happening, but possibly illegal as well.
You might have just
little cash for the brother. Maybe, it was virtual. My bad. Well, the point is,
little super spread in there for Super Karl Anderson.
They feel us, man, and they follow us. They know us. They get us, and like so, and that's what we're thankful for. We always say the Good Brother fans have always have just stuck with it, and the Talking Shop fans that have seen us from when me and Rocky and Gallows first started it, man. That's just it. We're proud to have fans that have stuck with us the whole time.
Yeah.
Speaking of sticking with us the whole time, we got Doc Gallows back
Doc
here
Gallows
in the
is
Uber
back.
ride, hitting that airport.
Oh,
And we can hear his
can you
voice.
guys? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
We can hear you,
Wow,
Doc Gallows.
amazing.
Yes.
I can hear you, Doc Gallows.
I'm glad
yeah.
Not
I'm
anymore,
glad
though.
you couldn't hear me. Well, this is fucked up.
It's great. This is the most going in raw interview ever. This is awesome.
Truly is. Truly
Okay,
is.
so I want to talk about the cock torturer
Yes,
for a
please.
second here, all right? Because clearly there's a strong Friday the 13th influence there with the hockey mask, but I'd like to know what other anti-dick characters influenced the cock torturer, and what are some of your favorite and or greatest dick and ball moments in pro wrestling?
Let me really quickly give you the true backstory to the cock torturer. Okay, so we hated doing the fucking. There were days when the podcast we didn't like doing it in Japan, right? It just was whatever. You've been traveling along. You guys know how it is. Podcasting sucks. Anyways, we get to it.
Yeah,
Me and Rocky are like, dude, we got to put out a podcast. We got to drop one. And then we hit up the big man. Come on, dude. Come on down to room. Let's just say 340. He goes, God damn it. Fine, whatever. He's in a bad mood. He's a big guy, right? Big guys get mad easy. He comes downstairs. He comes in the room. He sits down. He's fucking it. I mean, he is in a bad mood. I start running the thing hot. I go, what's up, man? You happy to be here? He goes, nope. I said, well, what are you gonna do about it? He goes, I'm quitting this stupid fucking podcast. And I said, is that right? I said, well, what are you gonna do then? He said, I'm gonna start my own podcast. I said, oh yeah, what's it called? And he said, well, it's gonna be called Cock Torturers. And I said, what the fuck is that? What do you do? He said, I'm going to have famous people on my stupid ass podcast and they're going to fucking jack off and you're going to listen to them. And I went, what? Then we all started laughing. And then all of a sudden it turned into this crazy voice that sounds like this guy. Here we go. Gallows, can you give us a real quick CT promo, Daddy? Oh, yes. There's an Uber driver in there.
Oh, there's
better.
an Uber driver in here, and you know what he needs? He needs a clean beat-off station with lotions and creams and top-level pornography, so that when I leave the room and set up my audio equipment and hit record, all we'll hear is him torturing his God.
His audio comes on perfect time.
Yeah, that's all we really need, man. That's all
Yeah,
we
we
really
need that one soundbite. We're good.
So then that's it. And then the Cock Torturer was born. And then, of course, our fans just are like, holy shit, the Cock Torturer rules. And then, like, and that's how it is, man. That's where the rise of the Cock Torturer comes from, because you got to get that guy in there, because Gallows cuts great promos anyway. But Gallows it's not even Gallows. The Cock Torturer cuts the greatest promos of all time.
The best stuff is the stuff that just happens organically. You're sitting around shooting the shit. We've sold, and I know you guys probably have too, I don't know how many T-shirts of just inside jokes to our audience, to the friendos out there. Like we were talking one day, and I think I don't know if he knows or not, probably not, because we never give ourselves credit. But we were talking about Baron Corbin, and we both we like him quite a bit. But we noticed one day during a match, I think it was with Cena or something, that his trash talk in the ring, we were picking it up, and I was like, this is like really bad trash talk. And I just sort of, I did like a Baron Corbin impersonation. I said, hey, you know what? You're not me. And we were able to sell like 300 T-shirts of like, because I'm an illustrator, I drew a wolf, because that was his thing back in the day. It was like a wolf, but his eyes were like, I didn't intentionally, I was trying to draw a cool wolf. I'm not that good of an artist. Yeah. So he looked like a slow wolf. So and then up here it says, you're not me. We sold like 300 of these things because everybody was, hey, Steve, do your Baron Corbin impression.
Yeah.
So that's the stuff that like works the best.
Yeah.
Right. That's think about that. Fuck, we need some of that stuff. Like, we need to get a picture of Rocky on our T-shirt, and then just have Gleek coming out, because when Rock starts laughing real hard, he starts gleeking on everybody. Yeah,
we should sell face masks too with that, shields, face shields,
Face shields.
anti-gleekers.
Because when Rocky became when we announced to the world that Rocky was a gleeker, he wasn't real happy about it, but now he's accepted it.
I've accepted it now.
You got to embrace it at this point.
Yeah, can you gleek on command? Because
No,
that always impressed me.
can't.
No, it's only when I get sleepy.
Oh, that's the same.
I knew someone in junior high that could do it on command, and I didn't know how.
Yeah,
Everybody knew somebody in junior high that could gleek on command.
Yep.
Yeah.
There's always that weirdo. Yeah.
Well, me and Rocky were just getting to know each other, and it was, I think we were like in the Los Angeles dojo, just sitting there, just me and him, just talking back and forth, just starting to get to know each other, starting to like each other a little bit. All of a sudden, he was like, and this thing went. I jumped. I said, "What the fuck was that?" He said, "Yeah, no, sorry, it was a gleek." I said, "That wasn't a gleek, bro. You like a llama. You just fucking hucked a loogie at me."
He's like, "That's foreplay."
Then I realized my brother was a gleeker. There it goes.
So you guys mentioned the cock torture. Let's get into some more details we saw in this trailer. If I'm seeing this correctly, there is some sort of projectile, a missile, if you will. So would you say you guys got a bit more ambitious creatively? And what advanced technology did you guys utilize to get a projectile?
Was that
rocket?
Taya that you shot a missile at?
Yeah. So basically, you know, the budget got bigger for TalkNShopAMania 2 because we were so successful with TalkNShopAMania 1, at least in our minds.
Yeah.
So the guys said, "Oh, obviously we want to do the whole thing just bigger and better." So we thought, "Oh, why don't we do it in 2 different locations? So why don't we do Chico and Chavo from Los Angeles, and then we'll have the Atlanta crew and we'll do the rest of it from Atlanta." So they were like, "Rocky, go ahead here, do your thing, make this thing happen," with Chico versus Chavo. And I had a bunch of ideas. And basically what I did was I made the Matrix Reloaded with basically all the money from TalkNShopAMania, because we're basically in the fucking red right now. And we're really hoping that people will fucking buy this thing because I spent a shitload of money. So we may never come back, to be honest, after this.
When we watched it back, we were like, "Dude, this is amazing." And they were like, "Well, hold up, dog. How much did that cost?" But it would, because it would. I mean, there's fucking there's gunshots and somebody gets shot, like somebody gets killed. I mean, there's like something gets ripped out of somebody's head. There's a missile shot. There's Matrix ducking of bullets, and like it's pretty fucking cool. And it switches up the monotony of just Gallows' house. So it's really fucking cool.
Like your WrestleMania
Someone has to die.
for the
Someone
locations.
has to die.
Yeah, so that's the whole
At
thing.
least,
Is it's a
I would think
lucha
at
libre
least.
death match, but somebody actually has to die to win. That's
the stipulation. I mean, that's
taking
what the
it to the
stipulation for the
right.
death match really should be, given
right,
the name.
correct.
Yeah, and that's the
So-
idea. Is TalkNShopAMania 2 is so big now. It's got to take place in 2 locations.
Right, like that WrestleMania,
Like
WrestleMania 2,
the
yeah,
other
yeah,
Mania
yeah.
too, exactly.
Right,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll probably never have a WrestleMania moment, but this was my TalkNShopAMania moment. So
It's pretty great.
Has anybody? We have a couple questions from our fans. If you guys have some more time, just a little bit more time, got a couple of questions from the friendos out there. From Patrick Oliva, has anybody refused to appear that you've asked on TalkNShopAMania?
Broski, Matt Cardona wanted nothing to do with part
Really?
one. Just nothing. He just was disgusted, embarrassed with us, with what we were trying to pitch to him. Because you got to remember what this is. Like, think about it. Or think of us trying to call and say we're doing a show in Gallows' backyard. Oh, fuck you, dude! Like, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah,
In
what
the
do you
middle
want
of
me
a
to do?
pandemic,
Oh,
in the middle of
right.
COVID, like I ain't fucking going. And I think he thought it was stupid. Like so. And then still didn't want to come back for part 2 because he's trying to get a job with AEW, stuff like that.
and he was fresh off the Fed for 12 years, whatever he was there for. He was there forever, right? So he was
was a
like,
long time.
"This is what you want my first thing to do, like coming out of the Fed is this." That he was thinking,
But I got a sneaky feeling he'll be there for 3. So
Yeah, you got to work on that for sure, man.
Yeah.
People love that kind of shit. Are you kidding me?
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
he'll be great too because we talk about it on commentary how he didn't want to come. So
yeah, we had a natural feud in the making too. So
Yeah.
Shame
hopefully it
works. Like
Yeah,
just-
we publicly buried him.
yeah.
buried him so
worked.
hard.
We got one from Adrian C. Are there any ideas you've come up with that are too crazy or ambitious for you guys to pull off?
or too expensive, because you talked
too
about your
expensive at this
budget.
point,
Was there
yes.
anything you want to do? Is like, oh, that's gonna be too expensive.
Not yet.
Not yet. No.
Not yet.
Wow.
It's trying to convince people to trying to explain what we're doing and how their participation will work is sometimes tough. Like he said earlier, telling Scott Steiner about his appearance in a nutsack match and then trying to have him decipher what the fuck we're talking about. So we kind of just let him do whatever he wanted.
I'm assuming. I mean, there's probably a lot of improv going on. I would imagine.
So
Yes,
much.
a lot.
Yeah.
So much.
Yeah.
That's how we work. We work the best on a base. Like you tell us what we need. Like let's figure out what we want to
Script
do,
it,
and then
yeah.
let's fucking let's go.
Totally.
Let's go crazy.
Right. And that's my favorite part of TalkNShopAMania 1. I was saying this recently was just the banter back and forth between Chad Too Bad and Sex Ferguson is all improv, and that shit is so fucking hilarious.
It really
It
is,
makes me laugh so much. So many great lines in there. I laugh my ass off every time. It's my favorite part of the first one, by far.
Let's see.
Part two, it gets even crazier. So.
Yeah, improv. You could always tell. You can always tell when the guys are having fun doing it, and that makes it better for everybody. Josh Martinez, I think Rocky, you addressed this in an interview in the last couple of days, but asks, once it's safe to have people coughing all over each other, are there plans for a TalkNShopAMania with fans in attendance, perhaps for part 3, 4, something like that?
Fuck yes. Fuck yes. Guaranteed. Absolutely.
At your house? Still in your backyard?
No.
Yeah. I will clog the shit out of that toilet if I go to your house.
I can vouch for that. He will.
I think we're going to build TalkNShopAManias with, if we can, with like as many cinematic as we can, and then maybe take TalkNShopAMania on the road with house shows or something like that. That would be really
ambitious.
Cool.
Right. I like
well, I think a live Talking Shop mixed in with some matches, and then we throw to the cinematic stuff that we've shot could be a really cool live event feel for people while it's being broadcast. It would be a really like interactive kind of experience.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. I know Talking Shop has gotten to the booze business. How's that all coming along? How'd you get into it, and where could the friendos who listen to our show score themselves some of that sweet Talking Shop libations?
This is the question that Larson really, he doesn't give a shit about anything else. He really wants to know about the alcohol.
I like beer.
Yeah.
Right now, the wine's the only thing that's live because everything else is taking a lot of time with trying to get. It's a lot of loopholes, a lot of laws, a lot of weird things, but they're all almost ready. But the wine is live. What's the website?
TNSmania.com. That's TNSmania.com. All things Talking Shop there. You can hop on there. There's the red and the white wine. One is, they're just both available. One's kind of the bottle's based around the wives, and one's based around the guys. And they're both amazing. Good. Yeah, they're both really good.
Yeah, the blood is really good, and the white wine's good. And the whiskey is coming, and the beer is coming. It's just taking some time.
The whiskey you can pick up from the distillery, right?
You can drive to the distillery in Pleasant View, Tennessee, at the Leatherwood Distillery and pick up a bottle. But
hey, we might have some friendos out there near there, so that's a possibility.
Right outside Nashville. Yep, they got it.
A really cool distillery too. Really cool place.
Yep.
Oh, that's awesome. That's great. Awesome. I'm really looking forward to this, Larson. I know you are too.
Definitely.
TalkNShopAMania 2 Rise. I'm just gonna say Rise of the Cock Torture. I know you probably Fight TV was probably they're probably like you can't. Did you even ask them? Hey, can we put cock in this?
I kept trying.
Well,
we tried.
They didn't want it. They didn't want it in the regular pay-per-view channels. Like you can't put on an in-demand preview cock. Sadly, I wish you could.
Could have been a rooster, you know. Like,
and
it's only
not the same effect.
It's only like $15.
Yep, $14.99,
man.
Yeah, less than $15. So everybody check it out. November 13th, 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific. Guys, thanks so much for stopping by. We appreciate it.
Oh,
thank you guys. Thanks for having us. We appreciate
having us, man. It's a lot of fun. Appreciate you.
Tell them bye. Bye, guys.
Bye, Uber driver.
Bye, Uber driver. That's a weird looking Uber driver.
Isn't it weird that the Uber driver's in TalkNShopAMania too?